Hello and welcome to the C Group Podcast. Hello, Seedlings. Hello, Producer Marcus. Yay! Well, it's interesting. This is still, people are still discussing it. For those in the know who Keith Lee is, it's still being discussed. For those of you that don't know who Keith Lee is.
I don't know who he is.
Keith Lee is, he's an MMA fighter, but more than that, he is one of my favorite tasters of food because he is the everyman. Cool. That's what I like
him already.
I like what one person said because he said he's not a food critic. He likes to eat good food. Yeah. What I like what one person said about him, he is the Michelin star. He is a walking Michelin star.
There you go.
Because even if he doesn't necessarily, the food is not exactly what his taste dictates that he likes. Mm-hmm. He never tears down a place. He always tells you, for you to take the opportunity to try the food and all of that stuff. His reviews are always kind. His reviews are honest, but they never seek to tear down anyone. But people are still talking about his tour. His food tour, specifically the tour when he reached Atlanta. People are still talking about that. And I think I think they're probably still talking about it as of this time when this airs. But I think the biggest thing that it opened up is nationally, how about customer service?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and a place that shall not be named was basically, to paraphrase, saying that, basically food, and I'm paraphrasing, the good food outweighs basically good service.
Oh, no.
Never. And what I like about it, Keith Lee, by doing this, especially to some place he was invited to, doing this basically brought about a good discussion about customer service. Right. And I would like to know, before we get into it, if you've ever had a bad customer service experience, if you've ever had a good one, put it down in the comments below. I would personally like to start and say one of the best customer services I've ever had was at a Cracker Barrel I went to.
Oh, yeah.
And
my favorite place.
Actually, before we get to the bad one, the person that waited on us was so good that not only we got her name, we left her a generous tip. Yep. But people that were even sitting in her area leaned over and said, "Oh yeah, we always try to get her area when we come to this specific one because she is so amazing at what she does." And I don't care I don't care how good the food is. If the customer service is terrible, I'm not happy about it. Now, to give you a bad customer, because the reason why I mentioned that one, because it was great customer service. Right. To give you one that's not so good, I'll tell you all after the show. I'll tell you all where it was, where these were.
Okay.
One was...
I'm sure I don't go there.
One was a certain location of a chicken restaurant, a fast food place. Will not give names, but we all decided we wanted to get something, and we went through the drive-thru. We ordered everything that we wanted. Sure, gave us the total, come around. We got through we got to the window. The only thing they had was chicken. They didn't have anything.
A chicken place.
And it wasn't ready. They asked us, did we want to wait for the chicken even to be ready? Oh, wow. And so we were like, no, thank you. And we kept it moving. We kept it going. It was interesting. Another place that I went, it was bad service because the person was nice nasty to the customers. Because I've actually been to a restaurant who I will not name, who is nice nasty, but it's like a gimmick. So it's like a gimmick. So the food it's part of the shtick. It's part of the atmosphere. It's part of the shtick. So I can deal with that because the food is amazing, and the way she does it is hilarious at the same time. So, but this particular place, the woman was nice nasty, and the customer service was bad in the sense of when you ordered a drink. You had to fill your own drink, but she had to come clean it, and I was looking over. and it didn't seem like she cleaned her hands before she got ready to clean clean the plate, the things I guess you turn around to get the spigots, I guess you call them, for the pop to come out of. And so when they went to take my food order, I did not order the drinks. I actually probably shouldn't have ordered the food, but why not? So I was there already.
How do you feel about all this?
Well, I've had some occasions where, I was tempted to be old Wild West rebel or something like that.
Wild West rebel, okay.
Where they come and say, okay, here's your food, and I say, okay, here's your...
Why does it always come down to violence? Why? Explain this to me.
You have your bat with you?
I was doing him a favor.
Okay.
This is one place. You put in your order. And this was the go around. And so you get to the window. And he's got his back to you. And he's conversing with some people. And then he walks off away to go talk to somebody else in the restaurant, one of the other employees comes back, looks at you, and you say, okay, well, he sees me now, so maybe he just kind of forgot that he did it, so he walks away, and I'm still looking at him, and he starts up another conversation. So then we had some drinks with that, so he came back and brought one drink. Out of 4 people that ordered drinks.
He said you got for one.
And then went back.
What more do you want?
What more do you want? Split it.
So, because it wasn't my drink, I couldn't just take it and start, say, okay, thank you for your drink.
Well, I got one quick question. How did you respond with a tip for that particular person? Was the food good?
He didn't leave a tip.
Tip?
He didn't leave a tip.
I would leave a tip no matter what.
I do too. I actually.
Whoa. What's the tipping rules?
Tipping rules.
Like when don't you leave a tip?
You don't ever not leave a tip.
See,
they're not making salaries.
Even bad service?
Well,
I don't leave as much of a tip because I'm a 20. I'm a 20.
Service, I always leave a tip no matter what.
It might be 5%. I'm a 20 to 22% tipper.
That's me.
For good service.
My wife got me doing that.
Yeah.
I used to be different than that.
Oh no, and for bad service, it's probably around like a 5% tip.
Right.
And can we cut the myth that black people don't tip? Because everybody
that I know tips. Everybody that I know, every black person that I know
tips. A group of people that don't tip because I watch them. They don't even want to pay for the food, let's know tip. I was there when the people, my wife and I was at this particular place. We were sitting there with our kids. All of a sudden, a bunch of these people came in. I'll be honest, I don't know what nationality they were, but it just tickled me because they came in, they ordered all the food, and then all of a sudden, couple people left, and I said,
they dined and dashed?
No, they didn't dash.
Okay.
They left, and then a couple more people came back, and they sat down to eat. I went, that's funny. They don't look like the same kids. And then all of a sudden, the adults left, and one guy came back, and the wife was a different lady.
Did they order more food, or was it the same food?
Well, it was kind of unlimited. You could eat as much as you want. But you had to pay per person. And I was laughing because I went, that's strange.
That's different.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Don't try this at home, folks.
Right. Thank you. Don't do it. Don't do it.
So how did that story end with that waiter?
The waiter,
one more time. And he did it one more time. So then when he was all ready, he says, okay, your it's whatever the bill was. I said, okay.
They gave you a bill?
Yes, they gave him a bill.
And so I looked at him, smiled, and said, wait on it. I drove off.
Did you take the food? I was going to say, because that would have been a whole nother show.
That's what I was thinking. Woohoo!
But see, if I had done that, he would have justified himself.
Exactly.
Right? So it was like, because he could tell by my look and
You're at a sit-down restaurant when this happened, or drive-through?
drive-through.
Oh,
See, now I've been, like I said, I've been to, sit down. Okay, well, now I can come up with all these experiences.
Oh yeah.
I went to
Same here.
because I went to a sit-down restaurant, but I had pity on her. The waitress was serving our food we had ordered. We ordered. It was crowded, and she was trying the best she could, but she didn't know she was passing hot plates the wrong way.
Oh wow.
So
That's not funny.
it was a big party. One of my friends got up and said, "I'm going to show you how to serve this." She literally served the food for her.
Yeah.
But I felt bad for her because it was overcrowded.
That way, take it.
And it was her. She had been out of the game for a while waitressing. So because I always look for, maybe it's not bad.
Right.
Maybe something, I don't know what this person is going through. I don't know what happened. So I try. And then if I'm like, okay, this person's going through whatever. If I find out, then it's probably going to be a 22% tip, Right. But if it's just crap, because I've had that too, where this one person, we asked for butter, and she slammed it on the table.
She slammed it on the table?
She slammed it on the table. And I'm going to let y'all go, because I realized I have a lot of stories, people, that I didn't even know I had. Because, actually when I followed the whole and still following the whole thing about about service, people talking about customer service and food and all that kind of stuff. I really didn't think about, have I had bad customer service? And more I started thinking about it when we started talking about it, stuff is popping up in my head.
Yeah.
So,
I know I was thinking about one years ago when my children were young. Went to a special restaurant because they had exactly what we wanted, everything we could think about eating. We sat down to eat, and I kept looking at everybody going past me, and I said, okay. I looked at the time. After a while, my wife said, Albert, what's wrong? I said, oh, nothing. It's just been 15 minutes. And she went, well, they're busy. I said, don't look busy to me, babe. And she went, well, I don't know. And I said, well, let me put it this way. It's been a half hour. Excuse me. Come here. The guy came and said, yes, sir. How may I help you? I said, too late now. Where's your manager? Oh. He just went in the back. I said, could you ask him to come here? And he said, okay.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
I laughed. I said, interesting. It took me another 15 minutes to get there.
Oh.
Now, we've been there almost an hour now. We still haven't had no service, no water.
Oh, you were good because I'd have been gone.
Oh, no. The way I was back then.
Oh, no. He wasn't.
When the manager finally came back, I said, you'll be hearing from my lawyer. Let's go. Let's go. And I had to laugh because, it wasn't something that I had planned on doing. But then I got a note because it was a class action lawsuit against that company. Okay, and then shocked me. After this show is over, we're going to find out all the dirt on what these restaurants were.
Yes. What about you, producer Marcus?
So I have two different types of experiences. I have and excuse me for bringing race in it.
I believe that's
a black restaurant stories. The issues I have with some black restaurants that I've been to.
That's been a big discussion about that too.
And then there are issues with when I'm outside my community, that bad customer service, and I think that's rarely talked about.
Yep.
I really shortly with the black restaurants. A lot of things are like I hate long lines.
Yeah.
But I do understand. I'm empathetic to black restaurants because they don't get business loans. They don't get a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
A certain wage, I do have empathy. But if I'm waiting as long as I have to wait for some of these restaurants, recently I went to a breakfast spot in the south suburbs. No names, but normally the food is great. I'll tell you guys after the show, what place it was. We waited an hour, on my birthday, for food. It's like the attitude that came with it. I was just like, I didn't deserve any of that. You know what I'm saying? I understand. I was willing to wait. Willing to be as grateful as
for your birthday.
And gracious,
When was your birthday?
I'll tell you after the show.
Okay.
So the experience was it was kind of bad, but I persevered. It's not a big deal. People have bad days. I get it.
Wait, you know what's funny about that? A friend of mine used to tell me that particular story, and I said, "Yeah, but it takes so long to get in for the food." He said, "That's when you know the food's good."
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily, but most of the time you know the food's good because if there's a line, that food's good because you're willing to wait. But if it's like that,
well, I'm willing. See, sometimes it's the culture.
Thank you.
Like being around, it's the people that's coming in there. It's people at the church crowd.
Right.
Sometimes it's the community I want to be around.
Right.
Sometimes it's celebrities in there.
Yep.
That's the black restaurant. So I try to give them
a little bit more leeway.
A little grace. Now the ones outside of my community, when I feel like it's racism, there was a spot in Homewood, Illinois. I'm not going to say that. I'll tell you.
He's going to tell us after the show.
Okay.
Where I had an incident,
and I think I know which one you're talking about. Go ahead.
And it's just unfortunate, because no one wakes up to experience stuff like that, and no one really talks about how. I don't hear a lot of people in the black community talk, really be critical of how people outside the community treat us.
Right.
And I will definitely,
Yeah. So like those that type of service, I probably don't give a tip then.
Something like that. No, something like that. Yeah, something like that. I definitely wouldn't do that.
Right.
That's a given. I wouldn't do that. Yeah.
I'd still give them a tip.
Really?
My bill would be $100 and they would get $1.
That'd be too much because I understand that we can't get all the jobs that we want for who we want, get the pay that we want. But the thing about it is, you still hold yourself up high. You be an example, and you give a smile. You give, talk to them if something's not right there. You don't just say, "Well, your food ain't ready" or anything, or wait until it's ready. Yeah, you say something like that. People will appreciate that, and then I'm willing to give a tip. Even more than a tip because they showed me respect by not just sitting there, gathered around telling jokes and everything like that. And I see the drink that I had ordered. And it's sitting right there, and all sorts of stuff. Turn around.
That's rude. That's rude.
It is. And if you can't take pride in yourself because you're representing not only yourself, you're representing your family, your people, all of that, and other people, your customers that come in. A lot of times they don't say a lot about it, say like this fool, I'm sitting here waiting for a half hour for that burger that's sitting there,
right?
And by the time it brings it to me, there's ice forming on it. It's like you take pride in yourself and you take pride in what you do, because somebody's going to notice,
right?
Well, somebody is going to say, I like that waiter right there, here's an extra tip. If I don't have money to give him a tip or something like that, you may come back and say, last time I was here at this one, so I'm going to order from here, rather than, because we were places where the guy, the waiters did basically nothing. They're standing there having a nice conversation, laughing. One guy gets up, he goes to the bathroom. A couple of seconds later,
you have a lot of that happening.
Yeah. I guess I get them nervous.
You get them? Well, I'm like that, and that's another show topic about how people in the service industry are underpaid. That's a whole nother show topic. And even aside from that, I have been to restaurants because, as those of you know, I'm a foodie. I've been to restaurants. Oh, be quiet, all y'all. I've been to restaurants that the food was not that great, but the service, I might not have gone back to that restaurant again, but the service was so good. You know what I mean? Of course I tipped. Well, the service was so good. And there were some instances where I rolled back around to a place after a while because the service was so good to see if the food had improved. And in some cases it had, some cases it hadn't, but in some cases it had. But when it comes to, just dealing definitively with the Black community, we need excellence. You know, we are excellent, so we need excellence. And if we're spending our hard-earned dollar supporting our community, we definitely want to see good customer service. Good food, yes, but always good customer service.
Always.
Always. You know, and I'll be honest with you, a good customer service can give you a little bit more grace than you would otherwise possibly not get. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I've been to restaurants, all ethnicities and whatnot, and you know, I appreciate good service, I appreciate good food, and I appreciate people treating the customer like the customer should be treated no matter what the race. You know what I'm saying?
Quickly, we got to close out soon, but I just want to know, what can the customers do? Because I've seen some unruly customers.
Yes,
too.
yes, and that's true too. It goes both ways.
Act fools.
It cuts both ways. Yeah.
Is there any way that we can be better as customers?
Oh, definitely.
Don't be so loud. Don't be loud.
Unless you're in a place that you can be loud.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that customers should do the same thing like we were talking about waiters and waitresses. So come in and say, okay, I'm somebody.
Thank you.
I'm somebody that's important to my family, to my people, or whatever it is like that. And I would not want to be, like, say, on candid camera.
Right.
Okay.
And they show me acting a fool.
Right. Thank you.
Because then people are going to be
and it has happened because we have the internet.
They're going to be laughing at you, pointing at you and everything like that. And, you know, what most of the time they see themselves on, oh, I'm going to be mad. I'm going to sue them. You know, whatever, come find out they can't. But you know, it's sort of like you carry, my father used to say, you carry yourself like you want people to really see. Right. You know, like you can't call yourself somebody important if you're acting like an idiot.
Okay.
True.
Because then you'll be labeled as an idiot,
basically.
So, and you know, with me, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just laughing because I know we got to go.
Well,
so I said what I wanted to say.
We should have a part 2 to this because there's more. Like,
there's more to it.
You know.
Okay.
And then just maybe we have solutions to it.
Right.
Okay.
You got to tell us after the show. You know.
Yeah. Well, before we get to the part 2, I do want to say to extend graciousness as a customer because you never know what that person behind the counter or that serving you at your table is going through. So try to extend some. I mean, sometimes you know when somebody's being a butt. Let's just be honest. Yeah. You can feel it in your gut. But for the most part, just extend graciousness to people because you never know. And sometimes you find out and you're like, oh my goodness, you know what I mean? But, you know, this needs to be a part 2. This does need to be a part 2.